Welcome to Alumni Appreciation Weekend, where we have the Prairie Fire taking on the Foresters of Lake Forest College. At this time, I'm excited to welcome on air class of 2005 alum Jared Kelly. Political science major and a product of the late Tim Hyman's great coaching, Jared finished his playing career with 2 school records and was 6th in all-time scoring. After graduation, Jared earned a master's degree from SIU Carbondale and currently serves as Regional Executive Director for Academic Partnerships, while also serving as the head varsity basketball coach for the Lighthouse Christian Chargers. Jared, thanks for joining us today. It's a real pleasure to have you on. Welcome.
Hey, crew, thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Jared, if you don't mind sharing with us, what has your post-Knox basketball career had in store for you? How has it led you to where you are now?
Well, it's been quite a journey. After I graduated Knox, as you mentioned, I went down to Carbondale for a couple of years, earned my master's degree down there, and then I headed up to Chicago and I was up there for about 4 years. I actually worked in the sports industry for a sports marketing agency. Wonderful opportunity there. The company is actually owned by Mark Rockefeller, and so our Christmas parties actually took place out in New York at the Rockefeller Estate. Pretty cool experience to golf on their private golf course. So really neat experience working for the company in Chicago. And then shortly after that, I actually made my way down to Springfield, Missouri, working for a company down here in K-12 sales, and was with them for about 4 years before I switched over to my current company, which is Academic Partnerships, and I've been with them now for about 8 years. And in that time frame, I met a beautiful woman named Sarah that I'm married, and it's a little bit like a country song. We met, we got a dog, we got married, we had some kids, I bought a truck, we built a house, and here we are. So
that's awesome. Indeed, a country song to say the least. So, Jared, how did your Knox basketball experience help shape your career?
Wow, great question. There's a lot of things that I think many athletes learn from playing basketball. You've got work ethic that you learn throughout your time playing college basketball, keeping a positive attitude, always looking towards the future, and really building relationships and how to build a team and how to build a positive environment on a team. Those are certainly things I took from Knox. But I had the opportunity to play with some very good players throughout my playing career. Just to name a few: Victor Garcia, Jason Macklin, Reggie, Adam Barnes. One of the best rebounders and screen setters I played with. It's a big guy. One of the things it did is it created a really, really competitive environment. And I personally thrived in that. And, throughout my career, I've needed that. And I think that an environment in sales has been really good for me. And, for my playing career, my basketball experience, that competitive environment has allowed me to thrive in that sort of environment in a professional world as well.
Certainly. Hopefully some of those guys are tuned in and listening right now. So digging a little bit deeper into your basketball career, if you had to choose just one memory from your playing days, what has stuck out to you the most?
We had a lot of great games. We had a lot of great battles. But actually, one of the best memories I have from playing at Knox came in a practice. And I really hope that Coach Peck is listening to this, because he will get a kick out of this. I'm sure he remembers this as well. This was mid-season. We had an early morning practice. I think we started at like 5:30 in the morning. And it's one of those cold winter days, as I'm sure you're learning about now living in Galesburg. Well, you're from Nebraska too, but just one of those cold, brutal days. And we get into the gym and we're all kind of a little half asleep when we first get in there. And finally, about halfway through practice, Coach Peck's running this defensive drill. And I mean, we're just getting after it in practice. I mean, the intensity level's up. Guys are going after one another. I mean, it's turning into a really, really good practice. And suddenly, and anybody who played under Coach Hyman will remember his whistle. I mean, he could whistle louder than anybody I've ever met. And he'd stepped out of the gym for a few minutes, and he came back, poked his head back in the gym and he whistled really loud. And so we all, of course, all stopped. We looked over at Coach Hyman, and he's standing in the doorway of the gym, and he waves at us. Doesn't say a word. He just waves at us, just, to come here, to follow him. So of course we stop practice, and I look over at Coach Peck and I hold my arms. I'm like, what is he doing? What are we doing right now? And so we walk out into the foyer of the gymnasium, and those big, huge windows that I think they face south, I think. And Coach Hyman's standing there, and he just puts his arms out. And as he's facing the windows and we're all standing behind him, he puts his arms out. And he turns around and he goes, "Will you just look at this? Isn't that beautiful?" And the sun was just starting to peek over the horizon, and you could see it. And I turned around and I looked at Coach Peck. I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me." And we walked back in the gym, and I just was shaking my head the whole time. And practice after that, forget about it. I mean, practice at that point might as well have been over. I mean, intensity was gone, and all of that. But I thought about that years later, and I really miss Coach Hyman. And what he taught in that moment was that there's more to life than basketball and competing. And you got to recognize those things when they happen. So it was a good moment.
Certainly. No, I appreciate you sharing that, Jared. That's a really impactful story and something that'll continue to stick with you forever. The last one that I have for you here today, what would be your biggest piece of advice to today's Knox basketball players?
Okay. I've had the opportunity to have some great mentors in my life, my career, both in Knox and post Knox. And one of my mentors told me, he said, the key to success is through philanthropy. And at the time, I'm like, well, I'm not sure I really understand that. You volunteer your time, what all are you going to get out of that? And as I've gotten older, I've realized that you have to take the effort to volunteer your time and your energy to others. And if you can do that, success will follow you. And it's not just giving your time to one organization or another. It might be in your career. You take the time to volunteer your effort towards someone that might be struggling, or someone that might need your help, or a boss that suddenly has a huge project that might need help, and you're volunteering some extra time to help that boss. They recognize that, and people recognize when you take the time to help someone else out and you go out of your way to do that. And if people will take that to heart, both in their personal and their professional careers, success will follow them wherever they go.
I love that. That's very inspirational. I think it speaks volumes to not only the direction of those that are around you and how you lead them. I know your players, your coworkers too, but that is really moving. And I think there's a lot to be said for those that are philanthropic, whether that's, through gifts of time, treasure, talent, whatever it may be. There's a lot of value there. So no, I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah,
well,
absolutely.
Jared, it was great to have you on here today. We're all so fortunate that you were able to join us. And Nate, at this time, I'll turn it back over to you to take us back to the action in Memorial Gym.